Welcome back, guys. Today's episode is going to be talking about alignment, and it's kind of going to be a series following up on the previous episode, containment, because these two things can kind of get confused. So, I'm going to make this very clarifying, and then we'll have a following episode comparing the two exactly. But this episode will be directly about alignment. So, first thing I want you to do is imagine putting premium gas into a car designed for regular. The gas isn't the problem, the system just can't handle it. Premium gas is more expensive, it's a higher grade, and you know, it's just higher quality, it's luxury. So it's never the gas. The energy is just too strong for the car. Nothing's wrong with the car either. It's just not built for the premium gas. So the system just can't handle it. And that's the same thing when it comes to alignment and when it comes to how people show up and their systems don't respond accordingly. And people think that they are not doing what they need to do. No, it's just a sense of bad alignment. And we're going to get right into it. You know how this goes. I have a series about 8 questions. I answer them based off of my life, and I want you guys to follow and answer them along with me and listen to my responses if you don't quite have any answers yet, but then come back and think about it a little bit for yourself. So, the first question, of course, is what does alignment actually mean in the context of your life and your energy? Alignment, when you go get your car aligned, it just means that your wheels are following your steering wheel. Whatever you're outputting is actually moving in the right direction that you output it in. So if you're putting energy into your business is moving in the direction that you want your business to move in, and that just follows any suit. Your relationship, anything that you're doing, your health, your wellness, it just means that whatever you're outputting is following in the way that you output it. Not, if your alignment is bad in your car, you're turning left, your car's turning right. That's out of alignment, right? The same thing with anything else. If you output something and it's not returning what you output, it's a system error. You're in misalignment. And we're going to get more into this in this episode. And I'm super excited about this. So we're on to the next question. How can someone tell the difference between an alignment problem and a containment problem? So, if you haven't watched the first episode, Containment, I advise you to go back and listen to it because I can't really give you a full, in depth, version of containment, but I can give you a little version of containment. So, containment is basically holding energy and putting it into the right place. So, focus, like, when go watch the episode. But how can someone tell the difference between an alignment problem and a containment problem? Alignment, again, you're outputting something and it should be, advancing in the way you output it. It should be growing in your vision. So if that is not the case, that is an alignment problem. Now, alignment is a problem of different direction. So if you're hoping for one direction and it's not going in that direction, that is an alignment issue. But you have to keep in mind that, don't be super strict. If it's following your general direction, that's not an alignment issue. It's just you trying to have too much control. And I spoke about that as well. But the difference between alignment and containment, I told you again, alignment is a direction issue. Containment is a momentum issue. So think about it this way. You have a car, you're putting gas in your car, you're putting the right gas in your car to make your car go. So it's not a gas problem. You have a hole in your gas pipe. So you're putting gas in your car, but your car is not getting all of the gas. The gas is leaking. So the energy that you need to go to work, you always fall short. You never make it to where you need to go on time or the time you thought because gas is leaking. You don't know. You have to go to the gas station every other day and you're spending more money, That's what containment is. You're leaking excess energy that you could be using to help you push forward. So To tell the difference, all you have to do, you have to know your system first of all, and you have to know how much energy you're inputting into something. You have to know your vision. You have to know all of these things to understand if it's an alignment or a containment issue. If you don't know these things, that is the first thing you need to figure out. So again, to tell the difference: alignment, direction issue; containment, momentum issue. Containment means, okay, I'm losing energy somewhere. This is not going anywhere. It's not moving. I'm being drained. That is a containment issue. And being drained can show up in alignment and containment problems. So again, alignment is completely different direction, you know, your vision, everything of that sort. You're managing your containment. You have no issues with energy leaking, but it's going a whole different direction. That's an alignment issue. Okay? So I hope you got that down. But if you don't really truly understand containment, go back and watch the previous episode. And if you need to learn more about alignment, continue to follow along here. Question number 3. What are the signs that the system or environment you're in no longer matches who you've become? This is an alignment issue because, again, if you're putting gas into a car that does not take high quality gas, it don't matter how high quality the gas is. It's going to tear the car up. It's going to be issues. It's going to fight back. It's not going to be coherent movement. So signs that the system or environment you're in no longer matches who you've become. Your vision does not align with what's showing up. You either want more, you dislike where you're at, you feel stagnant, you feel drained, you feel friction, you feel anger. Those are signs that the system you're in no longer matches who you become. Because when you're going in the wrong direction, there's friction. That's one of the main things. So if you're starting to feel irritation, you're starting to feel friction, anger, and those are signs that your environment is starting to become misaligned, or it's already misaligned. So if you can't grow anymore in the positions that you're in, if your boss, every little thing gets starting an argument, everything is starting to irritate you, things that did not irritate you before, that is signs that you are misaligned with your environment. And one important thing that I want to say here, this has nothing to do with you. Most people begin to think it's an issue with them. It has nothing to do with you. You cannot get mad at yourself for having high energy. You have to understand that the energy you have cannot fit into the old rundown system that you're in. And when you realize that you've upgraded, you just have to realize that you have to upgrade your environment and system as well. It's not an issue that you are no longer aligned. It only becomes an issue when you stay there and you begin to put the issue on yourself and not on the actual fact that it's because of misalignment. So the signs are there. You can usually feel these physically. Irritation is one of the biggest ones. Anger, just not feeling, motivated, feeling drained. That's another thing. But drainage is, more, containment issue. Frustration, anger, and everything of that sort is more of an alignment issue. So we're going to go to question number 4. Why do people often assume they just need more discipline or more effort instead of questioning whether they're aligned? I'm going to be so real here. It's also the world we live in. People are so used to never following their dreams, being complacent, dealing with just things that they don't like. People in this life don't even know who they are. That's the real issue, and that has been passed down through generations, through advice, through everything of that sort. That, you just got to show up. You got to be resilient. Life not going to give you what you want. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to, you got to experience it. You can't complain. Just show up. Man, no. When you're going through building something new, it's going to be hard. It's going to be challenges. But because you love it so much, you're going to be able to proceed. That is not discipline issue. It's not a discipline issue. Discipline is when, you just don't got no structure. But if you're showing up and you're angry, like, that is misalignment. If you were showing up really good before and you're doing the same things now and it is producing something different, obviously it's not a discipline issue if you were doing it before. You just need to know your system. You need to be honest. You need to monitor yourself, because if you're not showing up how you were before, maybe it is a discipline or effort issue, right? It may be that, but if you know you've been showing up the same way and things are just, the input is the same, feedback is different, it's most definitely an alignment issue. So the people who assume they just need more discipline, more effort, it may just be because of passed down knowledge that is incorrect. People aren't used to moving on and people are scared of change. But, life is here for change. We aren't here to be stagnant all the time. So if people are telling you just to show up and you got to try more, it's a conditioning. And when you break out of conditioning, you actually understand that we're here to grow. You'll understand that misalignment is a sign that you were way higher than where you are right now. You are beyond the structure, and it's okay to let this structure go so that you can now receive what is new and what matches what you're outputting. So, this becomes an issue of, conditioning, and sometimes not enough observation. When you begin to observe yourself, you understand, when you're putting in the same effort and discipline. You know internally when it's time to go for something. And that's one of the main things I want to kind of preface. We all know. Sometimes it's just we don't trust what's next. So be real with yourself a lot of the times, because it's not that you don't know, it's just you don't know what's next. So to be more comfortable and be more safe, you're going to assume it's a discipline or an effort issue, so you don't have to address letting go what's misaligned. Because you can't pour energy into something that's misaligned. It's just going to get more misaligned. So be real with yourself. And if you really don't know, begin to observe more. Now for question number 5, what happens when you keep pouring high quality energy into a structure that can't hold it anymore? We mentioned in the beginning, putting 93 in a car that takes 87, you're going to tear your transmission, engine, and everything up. So a once perfectly good working car no longer works. You cannot drive it. And crazy part, you paid more for the 93. The 93 is more expensive. So, oh my gosh, why can't it make the car run? Because it does not work. It's like putting a key in a door that don't have the right grooves for the key. It's just not going to work. Those are not teammates in this system. They don't go together. It don't go together, so it's not going to work. So what's going to happen is when you continue to pour energy into a structure that can't hold it, it's going to break. And you're going to waste your energy. And you're going to keep wasting your energy. And eventually, because the structure is broken and you keep pouring energy into the structure, it's going to take your energy. For sure, it's never going to say no. And then you're going to break with the structure. So it's not going to be one man down anymore. It's going to be two man down. Right? For no reason. Nobody's going to live to tell the story. You need to live to tell the story. So you need to understand when you're pouring high quality energy into a structure that can't hold it. And you'll know. So don't act like you don't. Don't act like you don't. All right. So we're on to question 6. How do environments, jobs, or systems limit or drain a person's true capacity? This is very important to understand. And in my opinion, this is my opinion, anything that's not allowing you to expand your full creative force is limiting your capacity, because we are beings of no limit, right? We have constraints, but constraints can be broken. We have no limit. And most of the times these jobs, systems, or whatever are constraints. And then you get to a point where you built enough energy and you go beyond these systems now, and now you're limited because you're in a system that you are above. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. People be like, oh, you're not above. No. Claim your energy or something else is going to take it. So do you want to be the receiving party of the energy, or do you want to let somebody else take your energy? You pick and choose. Because environments, jobs, systems, they will drain your energy and they will not care, because you are currency. Energy is currency. It's going to be doing somebody benefit at the end of the day. You just have to pick if you want it to benefit you or others, right? So environments, jobs, systems limit or drain a person's capacity because that's what they're meant for. They're meant to take your energy. But once you begin to understand that you are beyond these systems, you understand that some things are stepping stones. That's just what it was. But if you don't understand that and you think that, you are here to serve them, some people, and don't judge. If you are not bigger, if you do not have all the energy and you do not want to exert your energy on your own things, that's fine. If you want to wake up and go to a job, that's fine. But there is a capacity with everything. There is a limit to everything. And if you don't want to go beyond that limit, that is perfect. Everybody here is not supposed to be bigger than big. You were supposed to live life into your liking, no matter what you want to do. And the problem comes when people start to judge what other people are doing. You need to focus on your life most of the time. But all jobs, all systems, all environments have a capacity, and you have to be the person to know the environment's capacity and when you're rubbing against that capacity, and you have to be able to tell the difference, right? They drain your capacity when you know that you have outgrown the environment, the job, or the system, and you keep going back because you're comfortable, because you're scared to let go, because you're scared to embrace what you fully are, how much energy, how much capacity you really have. But at that point, it's not draining. It's a mutual, what do they call it? It's a symbiotic relationship where you're allowing them to take from you now. So now you're the prey and they're the predator, because you understood that they were taking your energy and you still allowed it. So yeah. Now we're on to question 7. Why are people so afraid to let go of systems that they've outgrown? And this is a beautiful question, because it's a question that most people deal with the bad end of. People are afraid because when you let something go, now you have to find something new. And most of the time, that's the unknown. People rather be comfortable. The unknown is one of the most scariest places to be. But on the other end of the unknown, you have some of the best rewards, because the unknown gives a sense of all possibility. Everything is possible in the unknown because there's no limits. Anything can happen. But since we are humans and we are biologically programmed as humans, our brain likes to do something called predicting. And when we begin to embrace the unknown, our brain literally scans that as danger. Most people do not do well under, those constraints in hard times and sensing danger. People's nervous system cannot handle that. People are not regulated enough to embrace the unknown and be regulated and still show up and not crash and not crumble. It is a refinery system. But on the other end, you come out more fierce. You come out with better things. When you let go of what's known, you automatically sign yourself up for the unknown. And in the unknown, you have no control. It's so much more comfortable to have control over your life. It is so uncomfortable not to have control over your life. But the more you embrace the unknown, the more you walk in it, the stronger you become. It's the priming. It's the caterpillar to butterfly. In any season of unknown, it's going to be uncomfortableness. It takes being uncomfortable to grow. And some people don't like change. A lot of people don't like growth because a lot of people do not like being uncomfortable, and rightfully so, because the word itself tells you everything. Being uncomfortable is expanding your capacity. It's a strength that not everybody has the capacity to do. Not everybody wants to be uncomfortable. Not everybody wants to, give what it takes sacrifice their comfortability for growth. But those people who do will see immense growth, and the people who don't, will be comfortable. And it's up to you to choose. Neither is bad. Some people come to this life, some people don't have the time to be uncomfortable, and some people don't have the time to be comfortable and not happy. So you choose what works for you. But if you're afraid to let go of systems that you know you have outgrown, you're going to continue to be comfortable. And if you're resilient and you're bold enough to walk in the fire of the unknown, the void, the land of all possibility, you will in some way be rewarded, And we're on to the last question of this episode. This episode, is probably going to be sitting around 24 minutes. So the last question is, what does it actually look like to release a misaligned structure and move towards something that fits who you are now? Now, this question has two parts, because the last part fits who you are now. You had to have planned who you were going to become while you were in that misaligned structure. So the first step in releasing a misaligned structure is understanding you are not who you are when you started. You have built a new identity, you have grown, you have added things to your character that weren't there before, that allowed you to expand your capacity to be able to accept something new. So it looks like becoming somebody new. When you become somebody new, you have to lose things. You realize you don't fit into the same groups. Y'all don't have the same conversations. You don't show up the same. You don't think the same. You don't do the same things. You don't have the same habits. So first step in releasing a misaligned structure is becoming misaligned. To become misaligned, you have to become new. And to become new, you have to become aware of the old things that you once were that you don't want to be anymore. And, start gathering new information, new things that you want to be, that you can be, that you will be. Then you become those things. And then you should be so happy when things become misaligned, because that's proof that you can become and do anything that you want. You've become the person that you wanted to be. So now you've outgrown the structure, and the structure is showing you that you've outgrown the structure because now you're misaligned. So when that happens, allow it to fall apart. Allow not having control. Some of the best things happen when you don't have control. If you are a control freak, this is going to be a little tough for you. But if you understand that life has unseen forces that are here, that are going to do things that you cannot possibly do, that are illogical. If you are a logical person, this may be hard for you. Begin to get out of your mind. Renewing of your mind, understanding that things are more intelligent than you, are more, powerful than you. It doesn't always have to be logical. But what it looks like is a new life, new things, welcoming new environments, jobs, systems, things that begin to actually build you. You're going to realize when something fits who you are, it's going to feel almost effortless. Aligned action, inspired action. Things are going to come to you for who you are. That's what it looks like to release a misaligned structure, move towards something that fits who you are now. And if you are in a space where you're in a misaligned structure and you're ready to move, this is your sign to move. And this is your sign that I've done it. And it's going to work. Even in the deepest, darkest times you think it's not going to work, it's going to work. And that is it. I hope you all went through the questions yourself and, came up with some ideas, answers, had awareness, thought about it a little bit, because this is important. Understanding the difference between alignment and containment will take you very far. You won't be making certain mistakes that people make for years. And all the questions will be in the description for you to follow. Thank you all. See you next time.